Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Zach's Packs. Today we have got an exciting one. We are going to be opening a booster box of Surging Sparks. Now these boxes are currently about £280. They are getting very expensive, bearing in mind that they only came out about a year ago now. It is kind of crazy how the Pokemon market has been recently. But let's just get straight into it. We'll do a bit of a market talk along the side, but let's get into the very first pack of this box. Now, we all know opening does not always guarantee the value back, but it's been a while since we've opened a booster box of any sort, so let's just have some fun. So, going in with the very first pack. So for this set, the top chase cards that we are going for are the Pikachu SIR and the Latias. But realistically, any SIR would be lovely to get. Now, or a Alolan Executor in the very first pack. Look at that. Now, it is about it is about 30 or so pounds. And it is just a stunning card. I love the artwork. I feel like it's a card that we've not really seen replicated. Just all the colours on it, particularly like the purples and the blending. It's its own art type. I feel like it's very unique and I just love it. So let's carry on with the opening, going on to pack number 2. Now, can we get as lucky as the first pack? I highly doubt it, but we'll see what we can pull. We've got no illustration rare. Oh, a full art back-to-back Clement's Quick Wit. That's about a £5 card, so not too bad. But overall, an alt art and then a full art, that is one hell of a luck combo there. Right, now that we've gotten a few packs in, let's have a bit of a talk about the market. So, we've all seen that for this year, 2025, the Pokemon market has absolutely blown up. We've seen boxes like Evolving Skies double, if not triple, within the last 12 months. And then lots of other things like 151 absolutely blew up this year. I still remember opening a case of 151 ETBs. Why I didn't record that, I don't know, because we hit the Charizard and the Blastoise. But what are you going to do? So anyway, I think currently we've seen a bit of a pullback in October we're in now. Or we're actually getting into November. So yeah, we have seen a bit of a pullback over the last probably 6 to 8 weeks. However, that is generally very typical for this time of year. Oh, a Hydreigon. Very nice there. Right. So we've seen a bit of a pullback. This does happen every year around this time. We're starting to see that it's getting closer to Christmas. So more people are getting a bit more careful with what they're putting their money into. Judging that everything has shot up, we don't know how much potential boxes have to carry on going up at that velocity. However, we are still seeing things like Stellar Crown and Twilight Masquerade. They're still growing a little bit. Some things have been hit quite hard actually though. So let's have a look at what's maybe dropped in price. So funnily enough, Surging Sparks, it got to about £310 for a box. That's about $360 US. But it's dropped to 280, about 320 to 330 US. So Surging Sparks has taken a bit of a hit. However, that does not surprise me. Or Latios, that does surprise me. What a lovely illustration rare to pull right there. Absolutely amazing. We've already hit the top illustration rare, an SIR and a full art. So this opening so far is going kind of crazy actually. So let's carry on. Other products that we've seen kind of rise and fall is Paldean Fates. The Paldean Fates booster bundles, I've been keeping a good track on those. And they grew to about 130. Then they very quickly dipped back down to about 110. Then they went down to 90. And then they went back to 120. And they've kind of been fluctuating up and down quite a lot. They've not really stayed at any given price. Whereas we look at 151 booster bundles, they were hovering around the £60 mark for quite a while, which I guess makes sense, about £10 a pack for 151. However, that set is getting to be quite old now. I believe next year might actually be 3 years old. So 151 is getting closer to the end of its print run. So I think for 2026, 151, particularly the booster bundles, are going to see massive growth. Now, they are currently hovering around £90 or about 115 US dollars. I think they could go to about 120. So that's about a 33% gain, and I think that within a year is very nice. Also, with it being 151, it's drawn a lot of collectors back into Pokemon. So I just think that is an absolute staple. So whether you're a collector, a sealed investor, or even someone who just likes to degen and open some packs, 151 is an absolute staple. Now, next we're going to talk a little bit about Phantasmal Flames. This set is coming out in literally just 2 weeks. Oh, however, a gold counter gain to interrupt us there. Lovely card. We've hit a gold and an SIR in this box. That is crazy. We do not see that very often. But anyway, Phantasmal Flames. We've all seen the absolutely stunning Charizard card. That has got to be, at least in my opinion, the best Charizard artwork ever made for Pokemon. I think there are no Charizard cards that even come close to how cool it is. We've got the Mega Charizard with the blacks and blues, and then the regular full line from Charmeleon to... No, Charmander to Charmeleon to Charizard. We see the full line to the blues and the reds. It just makes an absolutely stunning artwork. However, Phantasmal Flames does indeed have a downside. It's a very small set. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. However, I believe it is the smallest set since Black and White Emerging Powers. I could be wrong with the set, but I'm well aware it was a black and white set. That is almost 10 years ago since we had a set this small. So that is very interesting. It'll limit how much people open of this set. However, with it having the Charizard, people are going to be opening for that card. But again, even with such a lovely Charizard card, there is another downside to this set. It has very few secret illustration rares. It's got even less than Journey Together, and we all know how that set turned out. So because of this, I think it's going to take quite a big dip around release. Currently, boxes are about £220 or about 260 US dollars. But I think it'll probably drop to the 180s, 190s. Purely just because that Charizard, lots of people are going to be hitting it with so few SIRs to hit. And so far, we've seen pretty good pull rates. So I think that Charizard card is honestly going to tank. It is going to drop massively. It's currently about £900. I think it could even drop to like 300, maybe 250. And that is an insane drop. We very rarely see drops that high. However, the set to compare Phantasmal to is Obsidian Flames. That Charizard on release was about 250, and then it very quickly dropped to about £40. That card was so cheap for so long. I'm so happy that I picked up some copies of that before it blew back up. Oh, nice Pikachu as well. Right, let's just take a minute to enjoy how good a box this has been. We had an SIR in the first pack, then followed by a full art. We've had the best illustration rare, and now the best full art. This box is kind of going crazy. Well, let's just see if the heat carries on with us. This is an insane opening already, and we're not even halfway through the booster box. We are getting there, but not quite. Now, let's get back to Phantasmal Flames. So, I think this set is going to drop at release. However, I still think if you can find any of it for retail, that is obviously a good pickup. Whether you're going to open it, hold it, maybe even open it for a YouTube channel like I'm doing here, no matter what, Phantasmal Flames will be a highly open set. I just don't think that it has the set strength to keep the high opening rate. If you look at sets like Prismatic, for example, it was crazy on release. And even now, it's still crazy. Like, every product that gets released for Prismatic Evolutions, we see gets to pretty much double MSRP overnight. Like, if you can find any Prismatic for retail, you're set. And the other thing, Prismatic's just a really fun set to open. A lot of people don't like it because it's full of Pokeballs and lots of just little EXs. However, I think that just makes it an even better opening experience. Even if the cards aren't particularly valuable, you're still getting lots of nice hits. So I think personally, Prismatic is going to be the best set of Scarlet and Violet. Now, that is very hard to say. Obviously, it's going up against 151, it's going up against Paldean Fates, even Destined Rivals. But I just think if you look at the top cards, just the whole of Scarlet and Violet, I'm pretty sure out of the top 10, at least 3 of them are from Prismatic. Because we've got the Umbreon sitting at the most expensive modern card. And after that, we've got the Sylveon, the Leafeon, and they are very, very expensive as well. In fact, something very interesting thing I've noticed is the Sylveon from Prismatic Evolutions is actually almost the same price as the one from Evolving Skies. Now, what does that tell us? Evolving Skies, over £2,000 for a booster box, whereas that's pretty much, I believe, about £35 per booster pack. Now, Prismatic. Retail price is obviously around £5. However, most Prismatic products at market price are just over £10 a pack. But I've got a little trick that I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you made it this far, well done to you. So, the newly released Prismatic figure collection is an amazing box. The promos are stunning, but it gets 11 packs, which is a very unusual number. But anyway, the promos themselves are worth about £45. So with them being valued at about £120, that then basically means you're getting 11 packs of Prismatic for £75. That's less than £7 per pack of Prismatic. That alone is really good. In fact, if you add on the figure and then the sleeves, and some people like the promos, not the promos, the code cards, everyone loves the promos. Unless you don't, in which case, let me know in the comments. But anyway, so I think actually it's closer to like £6.50 or maybe even £6 per pack of Prismatic. So I have been absolutely stockpiling these at the minute. Now, I have learned very recently actually about the power of dollar cost averaging. So I have been buying, I've probably bought about 20, maybe 25 of these premium collections. And every single one I have opened, sold the promos and kept the packs. And that is for a very good reason. When I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I don't expect to do anytime soon, but I'm hoping we can get to that goal, I'm planning on doing a massive Whatnot stream. We're going to be looking at doing a 12-hour stream purely on just Prismatic, Rip Till You Hits, pack openings, breaks, maybe some singles, all sorts. I've also been thinking of doing a surprise set where every single spin is a Prismatic booster pack at minimum. I'm going to be getting in a super premium collection as a top pull. I'm going to be adding in a Pokemon Center Prismatic ETB. There'll be quite a few regular Prismatic ETBs. Overall, I just want to make a really fun stream. I'm going to plan to do yet a full 12 hours. We'll probably do about 10 in the morning till 10 in the evening, but that's not confirmed. And the idea is to have maybe even close to 1,000 booster packs of Prismatic for this. Because the Rip Till You Hits, I'm planning on doing those very cheap. So I'm sure they will fly out the door. And that's my way of saying thank you to everyone supporting the channel and supporting the Whatnot. Now, talking about the Whatnot, if you join using my link, you get a free £10 to spend. You can spend that on my shows, on my shop, or you can spend it on anyone else. It really doesn't matter as long as you spend it somewhere. Now, let's take a quick look. Vivillon, lovely illustration rare. I think we missed the Pikachu, we missed the Bravery, but that's just what happens when you do an opening and then you have a market talk over the top. But either way, this has been a crazy opening. I think, are we at 3 or maybe even 4 illustrations now? This box has gone absolutely wild. But anyway, So that one massive stream I will be planning on doing. Now, I reckon it'll probably be in the new year. It'll probably be around maybe March or April time, but it should be absolutely amazing. And my plan is to, even if Prismatic jumps up in price, my plan is to still have it about £25 for a rip till you hit. Now, I've seen some of the biggest creators on the platform of Whatnot are charging £50 for a rip till you hit of Prismatic, and Pokeballs count. And from my experience of doing them, if some of you might know, I've done Prismatic rip till you hits a lot before, especially when it first released. I noticed it's about 1 in 2 packs to hit something. So at £25, I think that's more than fair, because you're basically paying for the market price of 2 packs. If you don't hit in 2 packs, you keep going, and you could hit something even better. And there we are, a nice another little A-spec. We got the Energy Search Pro. Now, that is really it for me talking about the market and what to be investing in and my future plans. However, again, just to let you know, the Whatnot link is in the description to get yourself a free £10. One last thing, if any of you are wanting to start a YouTube channel or a Whatnot on selling Pokemon cards, then I have got a video where I describe all the different details and little helpful tips that you can look at. I do also have a bit of an opening in the background. I can't remember. It might have been a Journey Together booster box. It might have been Obsidian Flames. It was one of the two. We opened a booster box and talked about how to start selling on Whatnot. So I will link that down below as well. But if any of you do want to start selling on Whatnot, also in the description is a seller referral link. If you use this link, then in your first week, you get matched earnings up to £150. So if you sell £100 worth of products, you will actually get £200. It's so easy to sign up to Whatnot. It's such an amazing platform. So if you're even thinking about selling, even if you're not going to guarantee that whole 150, you're doubling your money on everything you sell. So in fact, you could sell things for way cheaper than market, and because you're getting double, it's still worth it for you, and other people are getting some really nice deals. Now, that is it for this video. So thank you all so much for carrying on and watching until the end. I hope you've enjoyed the opening. Obviously, we did lose money, but I've got to say, this has got to have been one of the very best booster boxes I have ever opened. So thank you all again. We're on the very last pack, so see if we can get any last pack magic. But if not, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.